Hey, before we get into White Heat episode 41, just want to let you know that this is the big week if you are a college basketball fan. March Madness is here. The brackets came out Sunday night. And this year you can compete against us in the Gozilla Media Bracket Challenge. Yeah, that's right. You can take on me, take on Goz, Levac, all the other boys and gals involved with Gozilla Media. Join us along with other Gozilla Media personalities in picking the Cinderellas that are going to go through, the Dark Horses, the Final Four, and the national champion in this year's NCAA Men's Basketball Division I tournament. Top 3 finishers, you're going to get prizes thanks to our friends at the Albany Empire of the National Arena League, Gozilla Media, and our friends over at Hooters. That's right. The best place to watch all the madness is Hooters on Wolf Road in Colony. Best prices and selection on wings, drink specials, TVs, and more. It is the place to go in the capital region in upstate New York. And don't forget that Wednesday, the day before the tournament action gets into full gear with the round of 64, Gozilla Media is going to present its NCAA tournament preview show on its YouTube channel, thanks to Hooters. And then on Friday, during the round 1 action from 5:30 to 7:30, you can join Levac and Goz live on location at happy hour at Hooters to break down all the action from the afternoon and preview all the action coming up later that night and into the weekend. Hooters, the place to be to enjoy the madness this month. And you can join the group today by going to the YouTube version of our podcast. So go to youtube.com, search for Gozilla Media, click on this episode of White Heat, episode 41, and you can click on the link in the description box to join the action with Gozilla Media Bracket Challenge brought to you by Hooters. That being said, Mr. JJ, do you like Hooters?
Not as much as I used to. I like the homegrown ones.
You answered that pretty much the way I expected you to. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, White Heat episode 41, presented by Gozilla Media, also sponsored by our friends, as usual, from Mohawk Honda and Johnstone Supply. We'll mention them again later. And also brought to you this week by our friends over at Hooters with our March Madness going on. And March Madness, it's a perfect time of year because March Madness also depicts the way things are around this time of year, typically for pro wrestling, because obviously everyone's getting ready for WrestleMania, all the events that go on during WrestleMania week in the town, or I should say the city that WrestleMania is hosted in.
I can't use my old March Madness joke anymore.
What's your old March Madness joke?
No, so back in the day,
Titus.
So back in the day, when I was like just getting out of high school, like my father would always enter March Madness brackets, and he would always have me fill out one too, even though I didn't watch college basketball at the time. And I was just always a joke. I'd be like Gonzaga to win it all every year, just to be a dick. I can't use that joke anymore because they actually fucking won last year or the year before.
It's kind of hard to use that joke anymore.
Yeah.
Can't do that anymore, boy, because they actually recruit on a national level now, and that's no bueno. And considering this year they're the national overall number 1 seed, that's and they probably have the number 1 pick in the NBA draft coming up in June in Chet Holmgren. But you don't want to talk about basketball here. We're talking about pro wrestling here. God damn it! That all being said, I know we're very kind of bouncing off the wall in the first minute, but as much as I don't like bringing it down, we're going to bring it down to start off the show because obviously the big news that's been brewing over the course of the weekend, Scott Hall had a series of heart attacks and was put on life support. And things were kind of up in the air as to how things were going to move forward. And apparently the news coming out as of us recording on Monday, March 14th. Now, the initial report of this is coming out from earlier today from Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
So we don't have any update per se right now. If we get one during the course of us going through this show, I'll provide it. But basically, Kevin laid it out there that they're basically waiting for Scott's family to all convene so they can see Scott one more time. And then they're going to be taking Scott off of life support.
Yeah.
So it's it's a very sobering moment in what should be typically a very exciting time of the wrestling calendar.
Yeah.
Um, and just the time. I mean, it's never a good time, but the timing overall, given the course of the wrestling year, really sucks right now. Um, Obviously, for this time of year, Scott is always going to be tied in with Shawn Michaels, the WrestleMania 10 ladder match for the Intercontinental title. Um, Obviously, always work with the NWO, so on and so forth. But I want to get your thoughts first, Scott. JJ, holy shit, on Scott Hall, and I guess kind of the impact that he had on the business, and maybe the impact he had on you, personally or professionally.
Yeah. I was a huge Razor Ramon mark as a kid. Huge NWO mark. I spent one hell of a night back in 2009 with Scott Hall. And it's really fucking bittersweet because me and the wife went out on a Saturday night. We decided to get out and we wanted to go somewhere for sushi, and the place near us was packed, so we were just looking for somewhere that was open later on, and we found the spot on Rocky Hill. So we said, no, it's not that far away, so we decided to go that way. Now, for those who live in Connecticut, Rocky Hill is right next to Cromwell. Mm-hmm. And in Cromwell in 2009, there was the convention known as Just Incredibles Icons of Pro Wrestling Convention. I was one of the guys that helped set up for that. DPW had a table there. So we were there the night before. I got a room. We were helping set up. So that night, Scott Hall and Terry Funk and someone else they all appeared for Big Time up in Mass. Mm-hmm. They did a like meet and greet up there. And then they were scheduled to come down to our hotel. So that way they're there fresh for the morning, because they were, Scott and Terry were two like premium name guests, along with Harley Race and a bunch of other guys. So after the Big Time show, they came down here. They went and stopped at All Stars in Rocky Hill, which was like one of the bigger independently owned sports bars around here at the time. Really busy place. And Scott was having a great time. Now, Scott was being driven by this little piece of shit who was partnered with Credible on the convention, this kid named Nathan Ward, who, if you mention that kid's name to anyone in the New England wrestling scene, will tell you how much of a piece of shit this kid is. I will leave it at that. Nathan basically told Scott what's what and said, you're not allowed to keep hanging out. We need to go back to the hotel. This kid is like 85 pounds soaking wet. Okay. This kid's all bitchy, and he's with, what do you call it? And he's like, so he's in a car with Credible and Credible's wife, Jill, and Scott. It's his SUV. So we go back. We're in the hotel. We're in the hotel lobby, like hanging out with Axel Rotten, I think at the time. Bobby Ocean and Andy Sweet had just come down. And they got there. Nathan Ward comes in. He's all bitchy and blah, 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 blah. He like pulled his SUV up into the foyer, into the overhang there. Incredible got out, and Jill was still in the car. And Scott Hall said, fuck this, and got in the driver's seat and took off. He took off in Nathan Ward's SUV and went back to All Stars. This kid's all, I'm going to call the cops, blah, blah, blah. We're like, you know where the fuck he is. Like, stop it. So then fucking Scott comes back to the hotel like a half hour later, because it wasn't like, it was close to last call, but not quite last call. So it's not like go anywhere. So he comes back. There's this whole rigmarole in the freaking in the main freaking concierge there. Everyone's bitching at each other, yada yada yada. This is the infamous Credible went back to his room. He was pissed off. He didn't want to talk to anyone. Nathan Ward's pounding on his door. Fucking, we're standing there, and he's all like causing a ruckus. Terry Funk opens the door across from Credibles, and he's like, Nathan, you better stop knocking on that fucking door and let the man have his peace. Terry Funk in his PJ bottoms and everything goes out to the hotel desk and grabs a bunch of those little, bowls of cereal, like the pre-made ones. He's like, darling, can you tell a gentleman where to find a spoon? And so, so PJ's not talking to his wife. It's, Jill's all pissed off. Scott's like, what the fuck, yada, yada. And they're basically looking for a place to just chill. So I was like, I've got a room. Come on up. So we're sitting in a room. It's me and my ex who's asleep, and Scott and Jill Polacco and Andy Sweet and Bobby Ocean. And we're just sitting there bullshitting, and Scott's just chilling in a chair, and Andy Sweet and Bobby Ocean are sitting Indian style on the floor like it's kindergarten, just listening to Scott. And it was great. And I remember we sat there and talked until like 5:30 in the morning. And I was like, I have to be up at 7, for all this shit. But when am I going to get an experience like this again?
Mm-hmm.
That was the night that Scott Hall taught Andy Sweet how to throw a punch correctly, because Paul Roman never did. That was a fun excursion. He's like, I've been told I don't know how to throw a punch. Well, do one on me. The fuck was that? If you ever did that to me in the ring, I'd fucking kill you. And for the rest of the night, he called Andy Light Boy because he didn't. So, fucking Titus, stop it. And I will tell you, and this was like when people were like, "Oh, Scott parties too much," yada yada. Through the entire night, Scott had 1 beer that he nursed and 1 shot with us. That was it. He did smoke a joint in my room. We had to cover the sprinkler so it didn't go off, and put the towel under the door, all that crap. But it was great just sitting there listening to him fucking bullshit about the old days and everything, and listen to some really funny stories about the newer days too. Because the greatest story that he told, he was sitting there. He was like, "You remember that match I had in WCW with Roddy Piper for the U.S. title on pay-per-view?" And they're like, yeah. He's like, I don't. He's like, Friday night, we're in California, and we're getting hosted by the Hells Angels.
Oh God.
And we're hanging out in the Roadhouse, and I'm like, hey man, where's the yayo? And they come over and they bring a bag of powder, and I take my hotel key, because it was before he had key cards. I had the key, and I snorted. I was like, what the fuck was that? They're like, it's meth. He's like, I didn't sleep for the next 3 days. He's like, I don't remember shit about that match. I don't remember shit about the rest of that weekend.
Oh my goodness gracious.
But he was fucking super cool, fucking class act dude. And then afterwards, when I was like, okay, I got to get some sleep. I hate to. And he was like, nah, it's cool. I'm hungry. Then he took fucking Andy and Bobby Ocean over to the diner up the road and fucking bought them breakfast. Because he was a cool cat. You'll hear a lot of stories from guys about Scott, he was with the young boys and he paid for them and all this shit, because that's what he learned how to do in the business.
Mm-hmm.
And it just really, really, really fucking pisses me off that he fucking got clean and he beat everything. And fucking a wrong fucking fall down the stairs is what took him out eventually. Mm-hmm. That is the hardest fucking thing to get over.
Yeah, I mean, I never was fortunate enough to have a personal experience with Scott, but if you go through his career, and when people mention guys who, how should I put this? When you talk about the list of guys who, the best who never earned the opportunity to be a world champion.
Yeah.
He's on the top. He's around the top of that short list.
Yeah.
The 3 guys that instantly come to mind for me, obviously, be him, Kurt Hennig, Owen Hart. Those are the first 3, I think. It's a pretty common and they're all relatively interchangeable depending on what you like in
Yeah.
in a pro wrestler. Um, Scott, he was obviously, and it was amazing to see like the way he changed over time because you go to early Scott Hall, he's got
Diamond Stud.
even before that, you go
Yeah,
to
yeah.
AWA Scott Hall, you've got the the Tom Selleck with
Yep.
muscles looking Scott Hall,
Yep.
then evolving into what you can really call really the early iterations of Razor Ramon with his Diamond Stud character in WCW with DDP,
Yep.
and then eventually transferring that over to Razor Ramon, and just the development of himself as a character in and out of the ring, his work. I mean, it's there's a reason why a lot of people like yourself, you know, held him to a high regard growing up and watching him. And obviously all the stuff he did with NWO, I mean, that all stands out, obviously.
Yeah.
Like when him and Kevin Nash held up 6 pro wrestlers with baseball bats. Yeah, that was WCW in a nutshell. And then all of a sudden, nobody catches Booker T getting the roll up, and never mind. So yeah, I mean, obviously Scott, it's a sad moment for the industry.
Yeah.
Especially considering the story behind his work with Jake and DDP and the Hall of Fame and all the stuff he's been doing since then. Trying to help DDP get other guys clean.
Yeah.
Not just Jake. And just being a good ambassador overall for the sport. Being able to change the dynamic that did surround him in his post-active years, in his retirement years early on. Yeah, helping bring his son in and just repairing all the wounds he had created basically himself over the years.
Yeah.
Just seeing that from him both as a professional and as a person, it sucks to see things happen like this. But yeah, it's unfortunate, it's tragic, and obviously we wish nothing but the best for Scott's family and obviously those who were super close to him. Yeah, it's gonna be a really, really shitty time for all of them, and we wish them nothing but the best going forward. All right. You know what? We're going to touch on one other downer kind of topic.
Okay.
Before we get into the normal stuff we get into. And this specifically addresses a situation Friday on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So, and we'll dive into the blow by blow of what happened on SmackDown later on. But specifically, we're going to hone in on what was the first actual match of the show, which was a tag match of Big E and Kofi Kingston against Ridge Holland and Sheamus. And they get to the go home section of the match at the end, as it's called. And Big E dumps Ridge onto the apron in front of where the announce table section area is. Then Big E goes through his usual. He goes for his usual running spear through the ropes into his opponent onto the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Ridge counters that and drops down. Big E dumps himself through the ropes onto the floor. Ridge joins him. And then Ridge goes to do a belly-to-belly over. Now, there's 2 ways to do a belly-to-belly that you usually see. One being a traditional belly-to-belly, like a Scott Steiner kind of belly-to-belly, where it's just, or even,
Shane Douglas.
Or Yokozuna even would typically do this too, where it would just be wrap around the waist and then turn, and you land with your guy. You land on your stomach, he's landing on his back.
Mm-hmm.
The more popular one, it seems, in recent years has been the release over the head kind of belly to belly.
Yeah.
people watching a lot of Brock Lesnar apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So Ridge is doing that, and I actually forced myself to not only because I had it on my DVR, I didn't get to watch the show live,
Mm-hmm.
but I forced myself to watch this 3 times on my DVR over the course of earlier today,
Mm-hmm.
and because I wanted to see like. I just got to kind of break it down in my head as to because of the dynamics of the move and everything like that. So the dynamics of it, and obviously you can chime in if I'm totally off base on this. The dynamics of doing a belly to belly in this manner, it's relatively equal parts a mutual move of sorts
Mm-hmm.
because the guy taking it has to help provide the lift by jumping
Yes.
with.
Yeah, you've got to vault.
But you also have to have the person giving the move pop his hips enough and get
Right.
enough lift with your jump
Right.
to get you up and over
Right.
so that you don't end up doing what ended up happening here, which was Ridge not getting enough pop to the hips or lift, it seemed like, where E cleared him, but when he clears Ridge, he is, let's just say he's at a right angle with the ground, and that's
Mhm.
not a good way to come down.
Yep.
And E comes down the top of his head. Clearly, there was trouble as soon as he landed because you could just tell by the way he was laying on the mat on his back that it was not good. And then they eventually went home, and Sheamus and Ridge won, but that's beside the point. So as a result, Big E has 2 broken discs.
Mhm.
The good news of this, not requiring surgery.
Yeah.
The bad news of it, though, which I don't really believe a whole lot of because to me, Big E is just one of those freaks where I think he's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But there are rumblings that it could potentially be career ending. Now, obviously, you don't know with the neck, so things can be tricky there.
See, I don't think it's career ending, but it's definitely career shortening.
Right.
Because once you break your neck once, like you're on borrowed time.
Right. And like you can ask Steve Austin that. You can ask. Now, Edge is a weird story that we can't really comprehend. But at the time of his prime, it was a career shortening injury.
Right.
I'm trying to think of who else off the top of my head.
Dana Bryan.
Didn't Dynamite Kid have neck issues too?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that led to back issues as well. So, it's a clear issue. But that's not the medical stuff. Obviously, is the main story of everything, and it should be. But I wanted to properly address this in a different manner that I think resonates with us more so, and that's this idea of protecting each other in the ring. Because when you are going through wrestling training, and this is something I'm not even sure like the general John Q wrestling fan really thinks of. Like, one of the most important things you are taught. Yeah, you're taught moves and how to execute them and make shit look good and blah, blah, blah. But one of the most important things gets hammered into your head time and 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 time again is in the end, when you go out there, there's only 2 people you can really trust, yourself and your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't have that trust, then shit ain't gonna end well.
All right.
I'll open the floor to you, JJ, because obviously you can provide a little more insight on this than I personally could.
I mean, it's a matter of trust. It's also just a matter of, so yes, once you're out there, it is the matter of the person you're sharing the ring with. Before you get out there, it's the matter of who made the match and judging on if both parties are suited to be facing each other. Luckily, when I got in, I worked under a booker who would never put me in a situation that he wouldn't be put in himself. And he put me in there with people he trusted. I think the issue that we have nowadays is, especially like in this case, is someone who was not ready for main TV, who had not gone through the developmental system enough who was also injury prone both for himself and others.
Right.
Who, like, Vince was like, oh, he's ready, and he wasn't ready. And now Ridge Holland's got to live with this for the rest of his life, even though he says everything's okay, brother. Like, it's still, that's one more person that he's injured.
And let's just kind of go through this quick because, and I'm trying to, my memory's a little shot about the specifics about everything, but if I remember correctly, obviously we know Ridge got hurt while he was in NXT, but I believe he also hurt somebody before his injury in NXT,
Yes.
Didn't he?
Yes, he did. I'm trying to remember who it was, but I do remember that, yes, he injured someone.
And then obviously we know about the nose issue with Ricochet at, I believe it was day 1, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
It was a pre-show tag match at day 1, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously there's this. But I mean, it's, to me, I chalk up the Ricochet thing as a complete accident.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, let me put it this way. Obviously, Ridge isn't purposely trying to drop Big E on his head. That's a given.
Right.
He's not trying to sabotage Big E at all.
Right.
I think it goes to what you're saying. It's more a manner of not having spent enough time.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's the other part of it that needs to be touched on too. For any workers who might be watching this on YouTube or listening to this on Google Play or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a worker and you want to, and there's a move you want to do, but you're not 1,000% confident in doing it, don't ever recommend doing it in a match.
Nope.
Just keep that shit to yourself and work on it in training before you ever consider using it in an actual match.
Yep.
Because you're better off getting yourself hurt in training, trying to pull something off, than hurting somebody else in the middle of a match.
Perfect example. One of the first on-show bumps I took, we'd practiced beforehand. I was originally supposed to take an overhead belly to belly from Chris Mooch. We were in practice and he was doing it regular way, and fucking Bulldog Blansky was on the outside saying he doesn't like the way it looks. He doesn't like the way it looks. And I said, well, it's not fucking up to you. But then we tried it one other way. Like, he was like, well, let's try it one other way. And we went for it before I was ready because he thought I heard the go. And I was like, whoa! And I landed right on my fucking shoulder. And I was like, yep, we're not doing that live. And my shoulder was killing me for like the next fucking 4 months. But we switched to something else for the show. No harm, no foul. Thank God we freaking went over shit in practice.
And good thing it was your shoulder, not your head.
Right.
Chris Mooch. Haven't heard that name in a while. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
What is he doing anyways?
Stuff.
He in Florida? I think he's in Florida.
I don't know where he is now.
Stuff. Okay. I got the cue. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, just don't. I feel like that's to kind of transition. I feel like that's a problem with. It's more than just an indie problem. Like, I feel like that's a problem with younger guys in general that get big breaks. Like, they try to over-impress and overcomplicate the process by trying to do shit either they've never done before or they've only done a handful of times, like, in practice, and haven't really done it completely proper yet. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. I don't know. Just take care of each other, goddammit. Fuck.
Yeah.
Speaking of taking care of each other, that's not what they do in this place.
Let me find my notes.
Go find your notes. Find your notes. In the meantime, while I was looking for his notes, I might as well actually transition over to here first. Let's go to I'll just run through Impact while you're looking for your notes.
Did I watch Impact? I did something with I think I watched Impact. Yeah.
You actually watched Impact?
Like, not the whole show, but like the second hour, I think. Yeah.
Okay. I'll just roll through this quick for the sake of fucking around. Jordan Grace beats Havoc during the pre-show. Good for
Mhm.
her, I guess. Josh Alexander kicked off Impact.
Yeah.
La 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 la. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that promo didn't really mean a whole hell of a lot. He basically just said he wasn't happy with how Edwards went to Honor No More, and I guess Honor No More attacks him, and then Scott D'Amore bans Honor No More for the rest of the night, even though Eddie Edwards has a match. That's good.
Mhm.
Oh, and Kenny King had a match too. My bad. Kenny King actually ends up losing to Willie Mack. Interesting. Then D'Amore gives Moose a contract for his Impact World title defense against Josh Alexander at Rebellion. If he doesn't sign by next week, he'll be stripped of the title. Yeah, okay. Ace Austin beats Crazy Steve and John Skyler in a X Division title match qualifier for Rebellion. Lovely. What else we got here? Violent by Design promo. Then we have an eight knockout tag match, excuse me, called an All-Star Knockouts tag match. Tasha Steele, Savannah Evans, and the Influence beat Mickey James, Chelsea. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They lost to Chelsea Green, Mickey James, and the Inspiration.
Yes.
My apologies. As James hit their DDT on Steele's for the pin.
Tickets for Rebellion are now on sale, by the way.
Oh, right. And that's in
Poughkeepsie,
right? Next month?
Yeah. Tickets actually aren't that bad for it. You can get good seats on hard cam side for $60.
That's not bad at all.
GA or 25, or if you get the combo package of the day of and the day after tapings are 35.
That's not bad at all, actually. Jonah had a promo. Who cares? Bullet Club addresses the Impact Zone. Who cares?
That's where I turned it on. Was the Bullet Club promo where Sabin, what do you call Alex Shelley brought Chris Sabin back out. So next week is Motor City Machine Guns against Jay White and Chris Bay. And
that could be a decent match, actually.
Yes, like all I'm praying for, give me at Rebellion, give me Motor City Machine Guns and God versus Bullet Club. I'm there. I will buy my ticket right then and there if they announce that.
I will buy my ticket. Josh Alexander then bitches to Scott D'Amore, whatever. And there's a women's match booked for the following week between Deanna, Giselle Shaw, and Lady Frost. Who cares?
And it's for like they're teasing it's for one of the two titles, but they haven't said which.
Yeah, I just noticed that. That's really weird.
Probably because of all the bullshit going on with the ROH shit.
Probably. Eddie beats Rich Swann, and I think that was the end of the show.
That was.
Yes. Yep, so that's the end of the show with Honor No More standing tall, as they say.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, because fucking Maria Kanellis was on commentary, and I was like, shut this bitch up.
Yeah, good luck with that. It's Maria. She does it.
Yeah, seriously. Like, someone who belongs nowhere near a fucking mic, who is just insufferable.
Well, yeah, we knew that.
And has just become more and more insufferable since leaving WWE.
Well, duh, yeah. Because there's no control.
But I mean, just like, you want to talk about the bitter ex-girlfriends of wrestling? As far as people who keep talking shit about WWE after leaving, she's up there. And it's like, considering what they did for you and your fucking husband, like, your husband got signed and immediately went into rehab. And then after you popped out, your kid got pregnant again.
Yep.
And they kept you on. Fuck off.
Yeah. Well, speaking of fuck off, before we get into AEW, you know what else? You know what else can fuck off? The winter. What? It can seriously fuck off at this point.
It did here. It's 60 degrees here right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, here it's 40, but, you know, we got like 48 inches of snow on Saturday. Fuck off, winter. All right, we want spring. We want it here. We want it now. And month of March, with slightly warmer temperatures, you get thinking about summer and air conditioning and drinks by the pool and all kinds of shit like that. We can call now for your preseason pricing on John Goodman Central Air Conditioners, or you can also look to go with Fujitsu Mini Splits. They have all those and more at Johnstone Supply in Troy. Best quality products at unbeatable prices. And if you're a homeowner that's thinking about your options and wanting to get hooked up with a local contractor that can figure out your family's needs, whether it be Central Air or the other, call Johnstone Supply and they got you covered. As always, the lowest prices on Milwaukee tools guaranteed. Johnstone Supply in Troy. Give them a call. Hit them up on Facebook. Go say the boys. Tell them the boys at White Heat with Gozilla Media sent you over. The boys. The boys. And now I've given you ample time to look up your shit. Let's get into these fuckholes at AEW.
Yeah.
Let me pull up my notes too and scroll. All right. So we open the show with Jericho because God forbid.
9:02 p.m. I said, watch. Jericho is going to kick him in the dick and turn heel like we didn't just see MJF do this swerve last week.
That would have been 8:02 p.m. First of all.
Sorry, 8:02. Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Mhm.
So Jericho brings out Kingston because he wants to give Kingston the handshake he didn't give him at Revolution. Him and Eddie kind of go back and forth a little bit. He shakes Eddie's hand. Then
fucking Chubby Bucks come out.
Yeah, 2.0 comes out. Garcia comes out. They jump Eddie. Then I believe Jericho had left the ring actually when that happened, if I remember correctly. And then Jericho got back in the ring.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yes, that's right. Jericho got back in the ring as if he was going to defend Eddie, and then said, "Fuck you, Eddie."
Right. Yep. I said, yep. I said, yeah, sure. Have Jericho join the guys that were beating him up for the last 2 months because that fucking makes sense.
Right. Then Hager comes out. They kind of make it look like Hager is kind of like doing a what the fuck kind of thing, but then Hager joins the party. So now we have a new group. We've gone from one group of 5 to another group of 5 for Chris Jericho. He goes from the Inner Circle to
the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Jazz hands.
I know it's fucked up. We're gonna have a new Pinnacle in the next 2 weeks too.
Fuck me. Then we go from the stupid to the nonsensical.
Also, hold on. During that, once again, no referees, no bell ringing, no other baby faces making the save, no security. Sports entertainment bullshit.
Well, not even, because sports entertainment would actually have the securities
and I guess.
Like actual sports entertainment, which is done by the people in Stamford, Connecticut, they actually have security and referees come out and with bell. Well, not always bell ringing, but at least security and the referees come out.
Right.
But then we go from the stupid to the nonsensical.
Why?
I get that he was apparently number 2 ranked, but where the fuck do we get off giving Dante Martin an AEW title shot?
Fucking seriously. Like, I don't get it.
Nobody got it. It's like Tony just sat there that day and was like, all right.
Dartboard.
Wait, not even that. It was pin the tail on the challenger.
Right.
And Tony Khan was blindfolded and spun around a few times, like, all right, pin the tail on whatever name you can get to. And he fucking chose Dante Martin.
Let's get this right. It wasn't blindfold. There wasn't any of that. It was that one.
You just love pretending to snort a line of coke on the show, don't you? I'm gonna leave that open-ended. Needless to say, Adam Page retained the title.
Gee.
Obviously, they're not putting it on Dante Martin.
Imagine if they had.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, an indie swerve for the sake of an indie swerve. And Paige gets a mic, shakes Dante's hand, says, anytime you want, whatever.
And here's something.
Yeah.
Especially, this was a chance with Dante Martin for them to actually do something that they have not done for the entire title reign of Adam Page. Make your champ look dominant.
No.
Every fucking match that Page has had, it's been, oh, is he going to do it? Or that's the problem with too many AEW matches, is even the matches on fucking YouTube, they make them evenly fucking, they make everyone evenly matched. The point of this,
as of right now, I can only think of 2 champions they've ever made look dominant in AEW.
Kenny?
No, because even his title matches, like even against Jungle Boy, they made it look competitive.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
The only 2 champions they've ever made look slightly dominant at any point, Miro when he had the TNT title.
Yep.
And Jade Cargill. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
but even Jade Cargill's matches go fucking 20 minutes, and they're just, oh, stop it.
Not even. And the only reason they're doing it when they go 2 segs with her is because they're trying to fill time because they don't know that time a fucking TV show. Anyways, getting back to business. So Paige, yeah, whatever. Then Cole comes out and says, "I want the belt." Cry.
I thought AEW didn't do rematches. So
well,
why is Cole still coming out?
Well, they're not saying he's going to get a rematch right away.
But no, instead we're going to get a 6-man of Cole and Fish and O'Reilly versus Page and 2 guys, because we didn't just fucking have that as the main event of the Go Home Dynamite before the fucking pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
No, you're just watching AEW. Then after that we had Mox and Danielson take on the Workhorsemen. Which is basically Anthony Henry and a helium-filled JD Drake.
Yeah, was it not on this fucking show? Jesus fucking a handbasket.
You did mention that name at one point. I don't know if it was specifically for JD and Anthony, but you did say that name. No, I just said watch
someone in AEW is going to call themselves the 4 workhorses of the Workhorsemen.
And sure enough.
And you pick the Jobomatics to fucking do it. Oh. I want you to think about this. 2 fucking years ago, a little over 2 years ago, like 2.5 years ago, was the Evolve 10th anniversary fucking show.
Yeah.
The main event of that was the title unification of the WWN title and the Evolve title. JD Drake versus Austin Theory.
Yep.
Look at where Austin Theory is now, and look at where fucking JD Drake is now.
Not even that, just put pictures of them side by side.
But the thing is, JD Drake has always looked like the throwback, barrel-chested, beer-belly, Dick Murdoch type of looking guy. I can put that aside. I mean, now he looks in shit shape with the gray hair and everything. Like
that's it's the whole package. I'm not just talking about his fucking belly.
Right. Like, because before, like, that was his gimmick, was I look like the guy that should be driving the ring truck.
The whole presentation.
But no, Jesus fuck.
Yeah. So Mox and Danielson beat them, and then Regal does an interview promo for the match.
You fucking Meltzer.
Huh?
Did you know about this shit that happened where Regal called out Meltzer on his bullshit? So Regal apologized for going along in the promo.
Right. That was the next day he said that, yes.
Mm-hmm. However, once again, this is the Blue Bloods angle. Like I said, I'm just going to keep reiterating that every week. He apologized for going along on the promo. Mm-hmm. Meltzer fucking went off and said, oh, yeah, he went along on the promo because word came out that Regal has a heart condition and they don't know what capacity they're going to be able to use him in. So this was kind of like a swan song promo in case they need to really limit what he does out there. And then Regal came out and was like, I just had a fucking physical and I'm in great shape. The fuck are you talking about?
Right. I saw him post that. He did tweet something about his physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Meltzer gonna Meltzer.
I was gonna say he just trolls for the sake of trolling at this point. Like he doesn't give a shit about facts. Doesn't give a shit about checking sources. He's just like, that fucking sounds good. You know what actually is? Okay. I'll give you a perfect example, okay? How much TV have you been watching the last week or so?
As far as wrestling or television in general?
In general.
I mean, it's always kind of on in the background here, but like I'll usually have it on like a streaming channel that's got like something on repeat.
There's a State Farm commercial right now.
Okay.
It's mainly airing on ESPN, but you might have seen it on other random channels possibly. It features 3 people. It features the Jake from State Farm rep.
Uh-huh.
ESPN NBA studio host Malika Andrews.
Okay.
And former NBA player and current NBA analyst for ESPN, Kendrick Perkins.
Okay.
So I can't remember the exact gist of but it starts with a conversation between Jake and Malika Andrews, and eventually leads to one of them saying something about how we get our crazy opinions for the day. It shows Kendrick Perkins, and then they cut to Kendrick Perkins doing spin the bat, stop, and throw a dart at a bunch of random post-its with random opinions. And I want to say it lands on something like the shot clock should be banned, time is an anomaly or some shit like that. And he's like, yeah, that's a good one. And then it shows him saying that on a broadcast the next day. That's Dave Meltzer in a nutshell these days. He's got a bunch of random post-its with random opinions about pro wrestling. He does fucking spin the bat 6 times, stops, gets his ballots, and throws a fucking dart. Whatever it lands on, that's his opinion of the day.
And the ones he doesn't like, he sells to Sean Ross Sapp.
Or who's the other dude that's a douchebag with him?
Alvarez.
Thank you, Brian Alvarez. The fact that, I mean, granted, he spells the name incorrectly, but the fact that the sheriff first name with him makes me fucking sick. It's spelled an I, not a Y, douchebag. Anyways, so after the Mox Danielson Regal shit, we have Hangman. He continues to distance himself from Dark Order because Dark Order's being interviewed. Paige walks in. Dark Order's wondering who he's going to get to tag with him, and Hangman says, well, I already said yes to Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, but hey, we're still cool and not really. Which I think is leading to basically some of the lines of Dark Order either turning heel as a whole again or just some shit happening at some point. Because they can't make a decision.
We need a heel Dark Order.
Which at this point wouldn't make a whole lot of sense because here's the thing. Your leader died.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be blunt about it. Your leader died.
Exactly.
Where do you go at this point?
I feel like the only reason they keep the Dark Order together is because of Brody's kid.
Oh, I don't even care. I don't give a shit about that. I'm not even let them be together. Fuck. Okay, great. But even separate, what would they even do? Like, let's just be real. Let's just call a spade a spade. Let's break down the Dark Order.
Okay.
You got Silver and Reynolds. Mm-hmm. Silver is a comedy act that's undersized but strong. Can put on decent matches. Reynolds is what he is.
I always liked Alex as a guy, but he's a mechanic.
He's a hand, yes.
Yeah.
Anna Jay, it seems like 1 week they're casting her as Dark Order, the next week she's next to Ty Conti, but now Ty Conti's tied with Sammy Guevara, so that Anna Jay shit doesn't really seem to tie that.
Damn.
So now Anna Jay is kind of like non-existent at this point. So right. Anna Jay is what she is. You have 10. Preston Vance, whatever the fuck you want to call him. Okay, he's a bodybuilder. Good for him.
I'm sorry, I lost you for a second there. Who was that?
10? 10. Preston Vance, yes. You have Cole Cabana, who at this point is, I guess you could call him a hand, but he's more of a coach. There. He's more of a coach than anything else at this point.
Right.
And then I feel like I'm missing somebody. Oh, Evil Udo and Grayson. Like,
I never saw anything in the Super Smash Brothers. I'm sorry.
You can't revert back to Uno being the leader. Like that, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, especially once you had Brody, that wasn't going to work again.
Right.
So you have,
and in all honesty, I'm telling you, that was the biggest flop from the beginning of AEW. They never should have made Brody the head of the Dark Order.
Okay.
He should have never been the Exalted One. If they wanted that gimmick to work in any capacity, they should have made Broken Matt Hardy the Exalted One.
It was around the same time, wasn't it?
Matt was there before Brody.
Not too long.
Right, but still. But the thing was, it was also known that Brody was still under WWE contract at the time.
Right.
So it didn't
they
make
brought
any
in Matt. They brought in Matt for Jericho and Inner Circle when they were heel originally.
Right.
So like you basically have a group now that has no leader, has no home in general when it comes to storylines.
But they keep getting used because fucking Tony Khan is buddies with fucking I don't know what the dynamic is. Like, I don't think that Uno is like close with the Bucks, but it's got to be something in that ballpark because that's the only reason they get as much TV time as they do.
No. Is it Uno or could it be Colt?
Uno.
Think
Colt
so?
is Colt like, and the thing is, I don't think Colt's comfortable being there since they signed Punk.
I don't think he gives a shit at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's just collecting a paycheck. But I mean, like, because Colt's a guy who, here's how I always felt about Colt Cabana. Serviceable in the ring.
Right.
I never thought he was as bad as anyone ever made him out to be. I always thought he was solid hand.
Certainly not a superstar.
Right. I always thought he was funny as hell.
Of course.
I think, but the thing is, he's funny as hell when it comes to his own shtick and getting himself over. And it's never really about getting a bigger dynamic over. It's about getting himself to laugh.
He's funny within a certain niche.
Exactly. But like when like he was doing the stand-up fucking circuit with Foley and Ziggler, like that was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always remember like I used to watch Worst Promo Ever like religiously because the shit was funny.
Right.
But like every time I would watch Creative has nothing for you, like it was just like, okay, yeah, we get it. You're not happy at your job. Like do something about it.
Right.
Like so it's like it's weird. It's like Cabana's like the angry ex-girlfriend that doesn't talk about WWE. But it's still there. You know what I'm saying? Like if like you wouldn't bring it up in conversation when he's around because you just got to get a sourpuss from him and yeah.
Anyways, moving on. So then we have Pac and Wheeler Yuta for whatever fucking reason.
Random babyface versus babyface for the hell out of it because we got to give the Fuckleberry Bunch some TV time.
Yep. So Pac wins. Then we have the promo backstage with Cole, the Bucks, and Red Dragon. Cole saying everything that teases he's going to pick the Bucks, but the Bucks don't want anything to do with Paige, so Cole's picking Red Dragon anyways.
Right, which we saw coming because it's the whole fucking elite versus elite bullshit. But going back to the match beforehand, notice how once again the person getting the biggest fucking crowd reaction is the guy who hasn't had a single match in AEW yet. Danhausen.
Well, yeah.
Like that has to say something about the guys in the ring. Like you should be the focal point. Instead, everyone's chanting for the guy who hasn't had a single fucking match yet.
Maybe that's part of the problem. Although is Danhausen even cleared yet?
He's not cleared yet.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Then apparently FTR fires Tully. Because that's a thing.
I mean, it never made sense for Tully to be with them. Like, I love Tully. And Tully Blanchard was, as much as people fucking give credit to the other horsemen, Tully Blanchard was a hell of a promo in his day. Mm-hmm. And he was a solid worker. Tully always felt out of place with this. It was like they stuck him with FTR because FTR was supposed to be like the modern day Brainbusters. And that was the only reason Tully was there.
Which made sense.
But at the same time, Tully did nothing. Like you didn't have Tully cut their promos. It's just like he was Tom Hanks. Come out, wave your hat, Smile.
He was more involved with Spears than he ever was with FTR.
Right.
Yeah.
And did you see that FTR already replaced him for their indie bookings?
I mean, I know who Cash has been dying to have. He's been saying his fucking name every day on Twitter the last week.
Well, they're actually advertising a couple of spots with him in their corner. Is Dennis Condrey?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah,
I saw. Who the fuck are they facing? Where I saw them booked with Condrey in the corner.
It's somewhere in West Virginia.
I was gonna say it was like I want to say it was like called AWS or some shit like that.
Something like that. It's a random indie.
Oh, the fuck was it? I can't remember. I'll try to look it up if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. That's not the person who I was thinking of though, because you know who Cash has actually been pushing for.
Has he been pushing for Cornette?
No.
I was gonna say that's never happening.
No, he hasn't been able to keep the name Bret Hart out of his mouth for a week.
That ain't happening.
Oh, they're facing the Wolves.
Yes, that's it.
Eddie and Davey.
Yes.
Yeah, ASW is the name of the promotion. It's in June. Beckley, West Virginia.
West Virginia, like I said.
Yep. Beckley, West Virginia. Yep. That it's indie promotion, so I don't give it too much hope. But potential is there for being a banger. Potential being the operative word.
Huh.
It's West Virginia and it's an indie, so. But whatever.
Hey, Abel Graves, try to get booked there.
Fair. So we have an in-ring segment where Matt Hardy gets voted out of the AHFO
because we knew what was coming.
Andrade and the Butcher and Blade and fuck all.
Private Party.
Private Party, thank you. They all drop Matt Hardy, then Darby and Sting save Matt from the attack, and then the numbers game is catching up on them, and then out comes Jeff Hardy, who decides it's more important to dance than to get right in the ring.
I was sitting there watching that. I was like, he is not. He is. Jesus fuck. This is AEW in a nutshell.
So normally, when you're coming to save somebody from an attack, you just come hauling ass down the ramp and get right in the ring and get in the middle of things. Jeff decided to stop about a third of the way down the ramp, do his dun 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 dun, and then go charge towards the ring.
Also, two things for that segment. One, a stable doing a double cross, which we just saw a fucking hour before.
Yes.
Not even a week before. The same fucking show.
Yes.
And number two, the same thing that happens. It happens way more in AEW than in WWE. At least in WWE, they know how to cover it up. Like if you're in the crowd watching and not on TV. Once again, someone's music hits and everyone in the ring stops and looks. Like, that's not how you get out of a fight. You can't, like, be in a fight in a parking lot at a bar and have everybody be like, dude, hit the music on your stereo, and they'll stop and look. Huh? Boy.
That would be great, though. That's funny. I like that idea.
Butcher still doesn't know how to take a fucking clothesline.
Right. Tony Khan's apparently spending his money on old wrestling themes that aren't owned by WWE, so good for him.
I mean, yeah, because that was stock music. Like,
right.
That was getting used for, like, fucking Honda commercials back in the day.
Right. Then Swerve's being interviewed backstage by Tony. I think it was Schiavone.
Yeah, poor Swerve doesn't even get to debut on Dynamite.
No, we're gonna debut you on the B show. That's or the B- show, whatever you want to call it. That's great. Then Wardlow comes out and attempts to give a promo. I mean,
you could tell he was trying so hard to remember his lines.
Yeah, I know.
And everyone's like, that was such an amazing promo. He was reciting shit.
Yeah. Then we had a tag title match for shits and giggles. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus retained over the Acclaimed. Back of the line they go, you would assume.
Once again, how are the Acclaimed ranked number one in the tag ranks when Sting and Darby are undefeated? Is this like the NCAA college football rankings?
The
Like,
old ones, yes.
the old ones, exactly. When I was a kid, when I was a kid,
The BCS was hot garbage.
No, when I was a fucking kid, I was a huge fucking Nebraska Cornhuskers fan. And I never understood fucking, what was it, 92? They were undefeated, but they were number 2. And Florida State was number 1, even though they had suffered 2 losses in the regular season.
Oh, so you were like you must have been like a Tommy Frazier, Eric Crouch kind
Tommy Frazier, baby.
Big brain on Brian. You're a Tom Osborne Bible thumping lover, aren't you?
Yes, I'm a Bible thumping lover.
Well, more the Tom
Osborne. The Huskers, like every year, they would like they couldn't win the big one. Like it was, and they would be so fucking dominant. Oh, like right. I just remember that year. I'm like, how are they number 2 when they're undefeated going into this?
The systems, yeah. I mean because that was previous. Yes, that was when it was just media votes and that was it. Like there was no system behind it. It was just who do I want to fuck over this week with my vote kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it was a god awful system. I never yeah. And then the BCS kind of helped it, but computers like
I'm a computer.
No. Right. And now it's finally sensible. Although they got to expand it to 8 teams. They have to at some point. Anyways, we're talking college football. Fuck off.
Sorry. The Acclaim.
So then we have Thunder Rosa get a match where if she wins, she gets a rematch for the women's title.
Yeah, it was a win. I was worried because at the beginning of the show when they announced this match, they said women's title eliminator. And I was like, they're doing another fucking tournament.
Well, yeah. But no, that's just a fancy thing they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, what's the... Well, it's the same thing as what they've been doing in WWE. What the fuck have they been calling them? Like, title...
Number 1 contender matches?
No, not even that. Like, the matches where they've been having the champions fighting random people. And, like, if that person beats the champion, they get a title shot down the road. What the fuck have they been calling those now?
Contender matches.
I don't think they've been calling them
like contender a championship matches. Contender matches. What they've been calling them.
Is that what they've been calling them?
Yeah.
I thought they were calling them something else. Fucking whatever. Anyways. But I just don't understand that you're going to name a number 1 contender by having them face the champion. So why don't you just... Never mind. Forget it. Right. It's just backwards logic. Thunder Rosa beats Layla Hirsch. Duh. Because... And now we're going to turn around and have this match... What will now be this week... in San Antonio... Because we got to get the Latin population out in San Antonio.
Yep.
We're putting Thunder Rosa in a cage. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do this rubber match in a cage for the women's title against Britt Baker?
Keep knocking out your mic every time you do that shit, dude.
First time, lights out. Second time, no stipulation. Third time, in a cage.
Armbar.
Move 678. Armbar. So we got that. And then apparently we booked Wardlow to get a TNT title shot next week.
Oh, yeah, because he won the Big Cheerio.
Right. But in order to get there, you have to have the guy who won the Big Cheerio the year before get his TNT title shot that he never got in the year. So we have Scorpio Sky get in and face Sammy Guevara for the TNT title. Sammy, what was it? Oh, he had Scorpio on a table. Scorpio moves. I don't know what the fuck that move was.
Fucking Sammy does that like every fucking the first time I actually turned on AEW, I saw Sammy Guevara do that exact same spot before the fucking opening bell rang.
Well, it was a 630 with a twist. It wasn't a pure 630. Like he did the 630 and then did like I don't know what the fuck it was. I was like, blah, 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 I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to make it look better. I don't fucking know. It was unnecessary. Regardless, he went through the table, which impacted his ribs, and then blah 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 blah. End of the match. Scorpio Sky wins. And then they're jumping Guevara, them being Lambert, Paige, and Scorpio. Mm-hmm. Ty Conti does the old bit where she dies in the ring and tries to cover up Sammy, saying, "No, don't hurt him. And then Paige Van Zandt gets in the ring and jumps Ty Conti and signs an AEW contract on her ass because that's plenty of cushion to write on. And so Paige Van Zandt is now a member of All Elite Wrestling.
I can't. Number one, this fucking match was just no. The match was no. But number two, I was just like, all right, so this means that Wardlow should win the TNT title sometime late March 2023. Because that is AEW's logic now. Because I love how everyone's like, Scorpio the Sky deserves it, blah, blah, blah. When we just fucking pointed out, motherfucker has had 4 televised matches since he won that match last year.
Right. Well, now here comes the thing. One or two things happens. A, Wardlow gets jumped and never has the match this week.
Oh no, the match will happen.
Or B, match happens, Wardlow gets fucked.
Yeah. We already see it coming.
Right. The foreshadowing is just
it's terrible.
Right.
And okay, before I get to, I don't know which thing to handle here first, the Tay Conti thing or the fucking Scorpio Sky thing.
Let's go with the Scorpio Sky thing first.
Scorpio Sky. So everyone goes and puts all their shit on everything with like, AEW is so diverse because Scorpio Sky and Jade Cargill are both champions right now. Yeah, that's fucking great. Jade Cargill's fucking horrible. We all know why she has a belt. Y'all want to talk about how great Scorpio Sky is and be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. You want to focus on a skin color. Apparently, everyone has forgotten about how much of an open and rampant fucking homophobe Scorpio Sky is. Because it's amazing how people like, and side note, I'll get to that in a minute. I'll sidetrack back to that. How Tony Khan will protect people and keep them on TV no matter their past. People like Sammy Guevara, who openly admits to wanting to rape Sasha Banks on Twitter. People like Darby Allin, who have been Me Too'd by several fucking women. What?
Rewind for a second.
You don't remember that?
How long ago was that Sammy tweet?
It was like a year ago.
While he's in AEW?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck me.
He said, I'd rape Sasha Banks, and everyone was like, what the fuck? And he made them take down the tweet, and Sammy had to go through fucking...
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking A. I forgot about that.
Right. Like Max Caster, who...
That's when he had to go through the sensitivity training.
Sensitivity training, exactly. But Sammy gets to keep his job. And people like Scorpio Sky, who back in 2012 was on fucking Twitter talking about how gay people shouldn't be allowed to marry and how they're an abomination against God. But we're just going to fucking forget all about that bullshit because fucking Indy Darling from California. Like, that was the reason he was in developmental at the time. He was in WWE developmental and got fucking dropped. Like, remember, he was appearing as fucking Harold in the goddamn fucking Dr. Shelby fucking bits.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he fucked up his opportunity there because he couldn't keep his mouth shut about his ass backwards beliefs. But now we're all supposed to forget about that because, blah, 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 because he's Scorpio Sky and he's black. No, he's a fucking homophobe. I don't care what fucking color you are. He's a fucking homophobe. He's a piece of shit.
Was there something you needed to backtrack to, however?
I will after I talk about Tay Conti.
All right, go ahead. Talk about the Brazilian.
Tay Conti and Sammy Guevara need to shut the fuck up.
All right, talking about how the picture that was tweeted out and talking about some comment about 4 hours of bed or some shit like that. Everything about how often they fuck and how much they fuck and how many PDAs they give out. But then at the same time, they're like, we want our privacy. Shut the fuck up. Nobody fucking cares about the two of you. Go off and be fucking children and fuck like rabbits and go fucking unprotected and knock her up and watch how fucking she's not on TV anymore. And then you're going to get caught cheating on her because you're fucking 22 years old. Can't keep your dick in your pants. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, nobody cares. Nobody fucking cares. Your girlfriend gets her promo advice from a 9-year-old. Nobody fucking cares. What? Anything else?
So I wanted to circle around to some more updates about the Con ROH thing. but that still follows under AEW. Oh, but before we get fucking Paige Van Zandt.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was expecting to go back to.
Yes, that too. They'll get to that before the yeah. I just want to make sure I had no more notes on the end of.
Well, let me preface what I think you're about to bring up. So Paige Van Zandt did an interview over the last few days and made a couple comments. Number one, she said she's still going to do the bare knuckle fighting stuff on the side, which is whatever. I mean, they have Hager still doing Bellator stuff. Like that's that kind of agreement is expected to be in place in that regard. The other thing that she brought up, though, which I think is what you're going to reference, is that she has a quote, and I don't have it directly in front of me, but essentially she basically said that her early appearances in AEW
she did for free.
Right. Which, I mean, I could see it being where Dan's like, hey, Q, come in for a favor. Like, if she's doing it as a favor to Dan Lambert, I understand it. If it was a Tony Khan-induced favor, then I'm like, but go ahead. What did you want to say about that?
So yeah, so she signed her contract. So she officially starts training on March 14th, which means that's today. So she hasn't actually trained yet. And let's be honest, this is only Tony Khan signing her because he already promised, and now he's trying to do a program with her and Ty Conti because, well, Brandy's not on TV, so you can't do that program. But this is what really got to me was the quote about her starting training, because she's going to be training down under Gangrel in Florida at his school down there, which at least Dave will keep her in a fucking place. The quote was, my only frustration so far with my whole pro wrestling journey is I would show up and I said, hey, I want to jump off the ropes tonight. I want to slam someone through a table tonight. Someone's getting slammed through a table. And they're like, you should probably train first. My only concern is that they don't let me do the crazy stuff right away. I want to go in there and I want to do all the crazy stuff. I want to fully immerse myself in the world. No, fuck off, fuck off. Fuck off and fuck off. Just because
I never read that part of the quote.
What?
I never read that part of the quote.
That's what I've been pissed off about, dude.
Oh, God almighty.
You are like every fucking kid that walks in off the street who wants to do everything day one, and just because you're Little Miss I've been on TV does not mean you get to do that shit. Yep. Your first day, you don't even fucking bump your first fucking day. You learn fucking Hindu squats until you fucking puke, and you fucking set up and break down the ring. You do that for days on end. Then you get in the ring and you learn how to bump, and then nothing but bump drills for at least 2 fucking weeks. Bump, bump, nothing but bump. You learned how to back bump, time to front bump. You learn how to front bump, time to roll bump. Bump, bump, bump. Run in place, bump. Run in place, bump. Hindu squats, bump. Motherfucker, I fucking swear.
Oh, shit.
You don't get to come in and put someone through a fucking table off the top rope your first day walking in, stupid motherfucker. None of us got to do it. You don't get to do it. You think Ronda Rousey did that? No. Like, Jesus fuck. And you know something? Tony Khan's going to be letting her do this shit.
Oh, God, I hope not.
I fucking guarantee you he's going to let her slam fucking Ty Conti through a table in the next fucking 2 months. I give it 8 weeks.
Mark it down. Mark it down.
Watch now. It's going to happen on week number 9.
No, watch. It's going to happen like
tomorrow.
Yeah, at fucking St. Patrick's Day Slam, whatever the fuck they're calling it on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. By the way, I love how they to cover the show you don't watch, which is Rampage, they were teasing this coming week's Rampage.
Yeah.
They can't even give it a specific time. It just says after the NCAA tournament. It's like, motherfucker, your show ain't going to be on at like midnight. Good luck with that, bitch.
Well, I mean, their numbers are so far down. Like, they keep dropping. I think they only cracked like 400K this week.
On Rampage? That doesn't
shock me. And even Dynamite fucking Didn't even do 900K this week.
Yeah, I think they did like 867 or something like that.
Right. So much for, yay, Jeff Hardy.
Yay. Anyways, real quick, I'll just run through Rampage quick because nobody really cares. Darby makes Mark Quinn tap out. Jamie Hayter pins Mercedes. Keith Lee squashes QT.
Jamie Hayter pin Mercedes.
Yes. It was fuckery, but yes.
I don't care.
Like, so basically, well, although you'll hate the finish. Want me to tell you the finish?
Sure.
So Mercedes is on top. Rebel, or whatever the fuck her name is.
Yep. She's
distracting the ref. Britt Baker basically takes out Mercedes' leg to fall off the top rope. I want you to guess the move Jamie Hayter used that led to the pinfall.
Let me guess. She hit her in the ankle.
No. Even weaker than that. Because that would make sense, because Britt hit the leg when she knocked her down.
I have no clue.
She pinned Mercedes after a fucking clothesline.
Yeah. That makes no sense.
Like, when they showed the replay, Excalibur tried hard to sell it as a lariat. That was not a fucking
lariat. Shut the fuck up.
Not sell it like that. But he was saying, he was calling it a lariat. Motherfucker, that was not a lariat. That was a fucking clothesline that I see in training school.
Right.
But anyways, and then Swerve beat Tony Nese because everybody knew that was going to happen.
Well, yeah.
Poor Swerve. He can't even debut on the A show in the ring. He has to debut on the fucking C+ show.
Ridiculous.
Oh, Swerves. But he's getting booked everywhere else under the sun, so the fuck does he care, I guess. Is there really anything?
That was one of the other things during that Sammy fucking match that really pissed me off. They said the reason that it was too much for Sammy is because all the fatigue of being the TNT champion finally caught up to him. I was like, the fatigue of working 3 days a fucking month? Fuck off. I wish I had that level of fatigue.
I want to give you one more thing to get angry at. That's semi-AEW related.
Well, still got to talk about ROH.
Oh, right. But I just wanted to pop in with this real quick before we get into something Tony Khan specific.
Okay.
So, NWA Women's World Champion Camille. She was on a podcast.
Oh boy.
Talking about her upcoming triple threat match at the Crockett Cup, which is this weekend, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah.
And other stuff like trying to plan a wedding, which is, I can't remember who the fuck the fiance. Oh, Latimer, Thomas Latimer. Thoughts about a woman's Crockett Cup, so on and so forth. So then, for whatever fucking reason, this is how small-minded these people hosting the podcast are. They go, Camille, tall, strong, champion. Oh, this is an easy transition.
Jade Cargill?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes. That's exactly where the fuck they went. Here's the fucking quote she gave. Let me finish it before you react. Quote, that would definitely interest me. To be honest, and this might be a little controversial or people might think I'm crapping on stuff, but I'm not the biggest fan of the Forbidden Door and how open it's been lately. I think contracts are contracts for a reason. I think it takes away the specialness of it, because that's a fucking word, specialness, when some of that happens. I think we should pull back a little bit. If everyone stays in their companies for a little while, and then imagine when something like that does happen, if no one has been switching around for a while, how big of a deal that would be. I hear it all the time. Camille versus Jade. How would I fare against her? I think I could fare pretty well. She played college basketball. I played college softball. Who fucking cares? Two completely different sports. We have that mindset, that athlete's mindset to win, and do whatever it takes to win. So it'll be a very interesting matchup, and I definitely think people would be tuning in to watch that, end quote. Your thoughts?
No.
Your face says it all. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. All right, let's get to Tony Khan and ROH.
So yeah, so more info has been released on like the whole ROH deal or whatever. Now I want to touch on a couple of things. I noticed Cornette talked about it last week about he doesn't believe that ROH actually sold for between $30 and $40 million. I will tell you that yes, it did. Tony Khan, what?
It's Tony Khan. Of course, it sold for 30 or 40 million.
Exactly. The thing is, That's how much the going price was a few years ago when the library went up. And I had that on good record from people who were talking to people who were interested in buying it.
So are we saying that he bought ROH at an inflated price?
Oh, it's definitely inflated, but I'm just saying that the people thinking that he didn't buy it for 30 million and he bought it for far less. No, he bought it for that much.
Because he's a fucking idiot.
Exactly. Word has already gotten out about Warner putting their hands in it, and same thing I've been saying for the last 3 months. It's pretty much true. You're not going to see the Briscoes there because they mentioned about the stuff that they said on social media 10 years ago. That even though the Briscoes apologized for, they don't want to be associated with it. And this is where, here we go again with Warner Media starting to extend their reach. And right now, ROH still doesn't have a TV home.
But they are still sticking to the Briscoes being part of Supercard of Honor.
Well, yeah.
That I know. Because it was already publicized and you can't fuck that up.
And that's on Fight TV and you can't already pull that out. If Supercard of Honor happens, God knows they could pull it in the fucking last minute.
Well, I mean, I know you sent me an article, so I'm not sure if you, I mean, obviously you read it, but I'm not sure if you remember this part. So the part about Supercard of Honor, like as of when you sent that to me, which was what, like Thursday or some shit?
Yeah.
They haven't even booked the full card yet or booked talent travel or any of that shit yet.
Yeah.
Like, motherfuckers, this is 3 weeks away.
Right.
Like, fuck all. Move on it.
Like, and granted, it's Tony Khan being like, I get to run a show during Mania weekend.
Suck a dick.
Right.
All right, that was really loud, but suck a dick.
Right. But like, and the whole, like, they've already got a new freaking logo and shit ready, and they're not sure if they're going to use that or the old one or all this shit. Like,
well, they want to use the old one for the Supercard of Honor and then transition.
Right.
But oh my, just fuck me. And then they're having discussions, not knowing what the fuck they're going to do with their streaming Honor Club.
Yeah, that was the other thing because they don't know what's going to happen to Honor Club after Supercard. They don't know if Honor Club is going to keep existing or not. Like,
why wouldn't you?
What?
Why wouldn't you?
Because it wasn't part of the deal. Because Tony Khan was so fucking rushed.
Tapes.
Tony Khan was so interested in getting this deal done so he could announce it on fucking Dynamite that he didn't fucking dot all the I's and cross all the T's. And this is the thing that I mentioned, that he's too fucking impulsive. And so, and God, I swear, if I see one more stupid motherfucker on social media when they talked about the staff and be like, well, they already got released from the contract. No, the wrestlers got released from their contracts. Everyone who had to deal with production or backstage now has nowhere to go. Delirious doesn't have a job now. Like, Sinclair Media is not going to hire Delirious to work in the office. Like, I'm pretty sure Hunter doesn't have the experience that they're looking for. But so, because Tony Khan said he's going to book Ring of Honor, like, why wouldn't you keep Delirious on? Why not? You know, Delirious, Joey Mercury, like, everyone's gone. And then all the office staff and everything, like, you know, Ian Riccaboni is left out in the wind now. Like, it's you know, people, like it said, like, some people have been asked to, you know, try to make a lateral move within Sinclair Broadcasting, but there's only so much some of those people can do. Like, the camera guys obviously can find a job somewhere else.
Can I provide a hypothetical, by the way?
Sure.
I want to focus on one specific person you just named. We need to face facts on something. And obviously, this has been known pretty much ever since he showed up at AEW. But let's just call a spade a spade. JR is not for long.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be frank with it.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have Excalibur as the main voice of your main TV show.
Yeah, because he's awful.
And Tony, I don't think has. You already spread Tony too thin as it is, because you have him doing in-ring shit, you have him doing backstage shit. You know,
right.
He's already spread too thin. You want to talk about somebody that you could slot right in, and there's not going to be a problem in the fucking world. Go get Ian Riccaboni.
Yep.
Sign him today. Sign him yesterday. Like, fucking go do it. Like, you want to talk about somebody who's not going to He's one of the very few people that are out there right now, even currently employed, or I would say if you sign him, your quality will not drop. In fact, it would even go up.
Absolutely.
Like, I can't think of anybody else right now that I would say that about.
And if Tony Khan's too dumb to do it, then fucking they should get him in NXT. I'm telling you right now. They got Quinn McKay. They might as well get him Cabana.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Absolutely. All right, so now let's move over to WWE. So Raw started with a 19-segment tag team title match.
Jesus.
When I say that, I'm being facetious, but it was like 47
minutes.
Including the Seth Rollins KO shit beforehand, it was like 45, 50 minutes.
I don't want to ever hear anyone again for the next year say Vince doesn't care about tag team wrestling.
Fair. Because they let those 3 teams go. RK Bro regained the Raw tag titles when, correct me if I'm wrong, Seth gave a stomp to Gable, Riddle shit-canned Rollins, and then pinned Gable.
Was it that? I thought the finish was when Gable did the moonsault and Randy caught him with the RKO.
No.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right.
Because then Orton couldn't follow up on it, so then Seth came in the ring and gave him the stomp.
You're right.
Which is funny. You had an RKO countered out of a moonsault as your setup. It wasn't even your finish. Anyways, that's just me being nitpicky. Then we have Dana Brooke defending the 24/7 title in a regular match because fuck the rules. Dana Brooke beats Tamina. Apparently, we're still kissing, and I don't fucking know. Then we have Miz and Logan Paul do their homecoming segment with King, and then obviously Miz and Logan Paul say "fuck Cleveland," whatever. Who cares?
They were getting too too much of a babyface pop. I'm like, dude, this has to happen. That has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's just funny that they brought King out for that shit because it's like the only thing that King really has to do with Cleveland is the fact that he was a big Cleveland Browns mark.
Right. Didn't his family move to Tennessee like when he was like 8 or some shit like that?
Right. But the thing was, like, especially during the early 90s, it was always about how King was a huge Cleveland Browns fan.
Yeah, I know. And comes out in a fucking Myles Garrett jersey with his own name on it. Nothing tweaks me more than that as a sports fan, but whatever. If it's a custom number, fine. But if it's someone else's number, fuck you. Put their name on it. Anyways. Then we have Ciampa team with a Raw debuting Braun Breaker because we all wanted Braun Breaker to be on Raw. They beat Dirty Dogs in a tag match.
So I originally was about to go to bed. I was like, fuck this. I have the DVR recording. I'm going to go to sleep just because I'm not feeling the show.
And then
they said they were bringing up, and I said, I have to see this. I have to see if the crowd actually gives a fuck.
The answer?
Nope. And so this is the thing. This is not the first time, nor will it be the last time. And this is something I've talked about in the past with how NXT is not kept on par with the other 2 shows. Even though it's on cable TV, it doesn't get the same amount of attention given to it. Like, yeah, you'll see a commercial during Raw for NXT.
Right.
You're only now in the past couple of weeks seeing recaps of shit that happened on NXT for Raw.
Mm-hmm.
So most people don't really know about it. You never see a recap of NXT on SmackDown.
That would also require cross-promoting networks, so that's a no-no.
That's true. I forgot about that. But there's not a lot of advertising given to NXT. So that's why usually the only time they really bring up NXT guys and they get a big reaction is day after Mania, because you have your international audience there and a lot more international people pay attention to your developmental, especially back in the day when NXT was still streaming on Hulu Plus and then subsequently the network. And so that's why shit worked on that level, was because you had a broader audience who were more likely to have watched the product that you are transitioning the person from.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, still not a lot of people watch NXT, and that's a Wednesday Night Wars, blah, blah, no, fuck all that shit. It's just a matter of fact, it doesn't get enough advertising attention. So it's a gamble when you bring someone up from NXT. And I remember the first time they actually did this was prior to Mania. It was right before the first NXT on USA, the first NXT takeover on USA. Okay. So they had an NXT showcase match on Raw, and it was a tag team match, and it was Sami Zayn and Pac against Bo Dallas and I forget who else. But it was for NXT guys, and the crowd
Tyson
was
Kidd, maybe.
I don't think it was Tyson Kidd. Might have been, but I just remember the crowd was kind of like, "What the hell is this?"
Wasn't that around the time of the 4-way that they had for the title?
No, because the main event was going to be Pac versus Bo Dallas
for the ladder match.
For the ladder match, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the first takeover on USA.
So Cesaro, maybe?
No, it wasn't Cesaro's. Or it might have been Cesaro. I don't know. Cesaro was doing a 2 out of 3 against Sammy to open that show. I remember.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Needless to say, was NXT guys. Crowd didn't really know them, and really didn't kind of know how to react, and was kind of on their hands until the red arrow hit at the end, and the crowd went, "Holy shit, what was that?" Mm-hmm. So that was 6-7 years ago, and a lot of things have stayed the same since then.
Right.
So you're not going to get a big reaction for an NXT guy, let alone someone like Braun Breaker, who just got into the fucking business 6 fucking months ago.
Yeah.
So boom, here comes Braun Breaker and crickets. And I was like, thank God. Yep. Because I was honestly worried that there would be a pop out of nowhere and Vince would be like, let's push this kid to the bone. But luckily, because there wasn't, it's going to be sobering to Vince and be like, this kid's not ready. And thank God, and Braun Breaker's not ready. And like, it's funny too, because it's like, yeah, you put him up there and everyone's like, oh, Braun Breaker, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, the kid's had maybe 20 matches under his fucking belt. Like, he's not fucking ready. Right. And the one thing that popped out to me, though, when he came out there, and it has not left my mind since, is I drew a direct parallel between Braun Breaker and one other worker that used to be on the WWE roster as far as crowd reaction, look, attitude, and just overall not being able to get over.
I have a name in mind, but I'm not sure it's the name you're thinking of.
I get serious Mojo Rawley vibes from Braun Breaker now.
Oh, that's not who I was thinking of.
Who are you thinking? EC3 was dead in the water fucking way before he came up to the main roster. Right. EC3 was a niche product guy, yada yada, whatever. No, every time I see Braun Breaker now, all I think of is Mojo Rawley.
Okay. That's a good. I like that too. Yeah, I like that too. That makes sense. Yeah, because no matter what Mojo did, it just didn't connect.
He was slightly over with the Hype Bros, and then they broke them up.
Well, yeah. Fuck Matt Cardona. Then we have Omos squashing Apollo Crews, and if they are really trying to tease us Omos versus Commander Aziz, I'll probably break my television. Because now, watch, that's going to be tonight. He ran through Crews. Now they're going to put him in the ring with Aziz.
I think they're going to hold off to have those two like eye to eye during the Andre Battle Royal.
Fucking yay.
But yeah, remember when Apollo Crews was Intercontinental Champion last year?
Yeah.
Remember when he was U.S. Champion the year before that? And he beat Bobby Lashley? Yeah.
Then we have Edge cut a promo coming out to the Undertaker Purple Lights, because that's nice. Nice
but
touch.
No music. It was really nice. No music. Comes out like very somber. I liked it.
Oh, I liked it too. I just pick a different color lights, fucker.
I mean, there's not many different color lights you can use. If it was red, it'd be Kane. Like
blue.
Which would work with it being AJ. Okay, you got a point.
Thank you. Rhea and Liv beat Zelina and Carmella, so now they're in the women's what? Oh, you don't get the pairing?
Yeah. Here's a Mania payday. That's what this is.
No shit. So now they're in the women's tag title match at Mania, which includes Sasha Banks and Naomi. So it's triple threat. Yay. Balor and Theory are having a match. Damian Priest interferes and DQs the match.
Great value Roman Reigns.
Who did a great value Razor's Edge.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Well, I mean, he was using that move slightly in NXT.
Fuck you. Don't use the fucking Razor's Edge. Suck a dick, especially after what's happened this weekend.
Do you think I'm using it? No, but I'm saying he has.
Oh, I know. When I said fuck you, I didn't really mean you. Yeah. You know what I meant.
But did he not look like great value fucking Shield?
He looked like a fucking retard. So then we end with the show having KO come out. He does this elaborate, drawn-out bullshit, and then he does what we all knew he was going to do. He calls out Steve Austin for Mania, who answers him the next day with a video that was posted on Twitter with his ATV and shit. Mm-hmm. And Austin says, yeah, I'll be there. So it's being promoted as the KO show. Is it? I mean, I think this is basically Vince's way of covering his ass, where he's not promising a match,
right?
But they're promising physicality,
right?
So you're offering the compromise is the best word I can think of.
I have a
compromise
feeling
the crowd.
Right. I have a feeling what'll happen is it'll be set up like interview segment. And then Austin's going to be like, I don't give a damn, kid. Why don't you get a referee right there? I'll give you a Texas-sized ass whooping. You don't get no rules. Show the rules out, blah, blah, blah. And then just like ring the bell and then kick, wham, stunner, done. Kind of like
Rockin' Eric Rowan.
Yeah.
I knew exactly where you were going with that.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, where did that happen? In Dallas.
That's right.
Yeah. Fucking A, right? That was also the same WrestleMania where League of Nations beat I don't know. They beat somebody in a 6-man tag or some shit. And that's when you had the HBK Foley Austin spot.
Speaking of Dallas, do you know that they announced another entrant?
Hall of Famer? They gotta have an empty bottle.
And you were complaining about Boogeyman.
Who hasn't even been fucking named yet, by the way.
True.
They have not officially announced him yet.
Or head drinkers.
There's only 3 weeks left, motherfucker. If I didn't love Booker T so much, I would have thrown this bottle by now. Queen Charmel? What the fuck did she ever do? She shook her ass as a Nitro girl and then just happened to marry Booker T and got herself a manager
in WCW, though, too. She was a valet in WCW.
Oh, look at my balls. What did that matter? What did she do in WCW that was so brilliant as a valet?
I don't know. I wasn't watching WCW anymore.
That's my fucking point. She had about as much of an impact on the business as a valet or manager as Medeja when she was with Scott Steiner. Suck a dick.
Fucking Medeja.
I don't know how I found that name out of my ass, but I pulled it out, didn't I? Eddie Hooser. Fucking Queen Charmel going to the Hall of Fame. What a crock of shit that is.
I think they have to do something in order to justify for how much they paid for Queen Charmel's gimmick on Hidden Treasures that episode.
I didn't even fucking think about that, but you're absolutely correct.
They're like, fuck, we got to put her in the Hall of Fame now.
You're absolutely fucking correct. I didn't even think about that. You know what? You're dead on. It's all a package deal. It's all work. It's all fucking work.
Speaking of Hidden Treasures, WWE TV series, you see the new one that's been announced for Peacock? Evil?
Oh, the one about heels and yeah.
Yeah, it's about like the people's heel turns and stuff. That premieres next week, I think.
Yeah.
I'm actually really interested in that.
I'm gonna leave my judgment out for when I see it.
From the clips I've seen so far, because I fall asleep watching one of the streaming channels on Peacock, so I see a lot of the bumpers for.
Aside from Heyman, I'm gonna reserve my judgment on it.
The shit that they're showing with Miz and Roman looks really good.
We'll see. We'll see.
Speaking of Heyman, real quick.
Oh boy.
So, like I said, I fall asleep to Peacock streaming channels, or I'll throw something that's in my queue. So I fell asleep watching Ruthless Aggression again, just because it was there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really funny how when Ruthless Aggression finished, like the algorithm goes by like shit that you'll probably watch based on this.
Right.
So it went from the last episode of season 2 of Ruthless Aggression, which was the OVW episode,
Right,
to the FCW documentary they did.
Oh, with Steve Kern. That's nice.
Yep, with Steve Kern. To My Name is Paul Heyman.
It's a hell of a... Okay.
But I'm watching My Name is Paul Heyman, and it gets to the part where he's talking about when he was running OVW and how he saw all these things in Punk, and he would invite Punk into the editing suite.
TV production,
Yeah, TV production, and show him how to edit TV and how to cut it and stuff, blah, blah, blah. And Punk's like, so I learned all this stuff about how to, completely to format a TV show and how to edit it for commercial breaks, blah, blah. I'm like, why don't you fucking teach Tony Khan some of that shit, dumbass? Oh, that's right, because you're only getting $10 million a year already, and that's not enough. Suck my dick.
You glad you got that out of your system?
Yes.
Okay. NXT. Dakota Kai and
You like the picture I sent you?
Yeah, thanks. Dakota Kai and Wendy Chu, they beat Raquel and Cora in an upset of sorts. They get to the finals of Dusty Cup.
Well, it's because now because you know that they want to do Cora and Mandy Rose because nobody wants to watch that match, especially at TakeOver, where the crowd is going to eat them alive.
Yeah. Creeds get jumped, so they end up not doing their tag title match yet, probably because they want to wait till Stand and Deliver. I told you. Yes.
Because now they're doing the same thing that they did the year that remember the year where I think it was the finals of the Dusty Cup. I'm trying to remember. The finals of the Dusty Cup ended in a fucking no contest schmaz, and they ended up where
triple threat.
It go into a triple threat where it was for the Dusty Cup and the tag titles or some shit.
Sure.
And it was Undisputed Era and Authors of Pain.
Sure.
And someone else. Yeah. But they're basically doing that whole thing over again. And it's because, I guarantee you, it's because they know that the Creeds aren't ready. And they can't put it on at Stand and Deliver with the Creed. There's not enough time.
Want MSK to cover it up.
Exactly. They want them to be the fucking buffer to fucking hide all the weaknesses.
And we'll get to that in a second. Tiffany Stratton loses to some, I don't know who the fuck Fallon Henley is, but whatever. Fallon Henley looked like she basically asked Dakota Kai for some old gear to put on and went on that match.
It was basically just to further along fucking Tiffany Stratton and Saray.
Or Tiffany Stratton and shiny necklace. That's basically what it is.
I know.
Tiffany Stratton having ADD for a fucking necklace.
Mm-hmm.
They have Waller beat LA Knight in the Last Man Standing match.
Because now they're going to continue on this fucking feud. There's no way they ended on this. There's no way. I feel like it's going to be a loser leaves town match at fucking Stand and Deliver.
Probably. The other Dusty Cup semifinal, women's Dusty Cup semifinal, excuse me. Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray beat Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. Despite Kaylee Ray, did you see the Dragon Rana she took?
Yeah.
That was pretty nasty.
Yeah. I'm surprised because so I understand them trying to. It's obvious going to be EO and KLR in the who win it.
Correct.
That's obvious. But it's just really weird because Casey and Caden, I was not big on them when they first started tagging, but they've been together a long ass time, and they're really the only actual tag team in this thing.
Yeah.
They're kind of getting brushed aside.
Yep. I know. It is a little weird. So they had the tag title match with MSK replace the Creeds, but then the Creeds come down and interfere and cause the match to get thrown out. So leads to what we were talking about a moment ago.
Yep.
Then they run a vignette package about A-Kid who's leaving NXT UK and joining NXT 2.0.
Poor A-Kid.
Yeah, poor A-Kid. That's exactly what I was going to say. And then
his first match is against Kushida, which will be a good match, but after that, God knows.
Yeah. Then we get to the moment you were all waiting for. Were they going to do it or were they not going to do it?
I ain't mad.
Well, they fucking did it. They pulled the trigger on Dolph Ziggler becoming NXT champion.
I'm all for it for a bunch of reasons.
One, Braun didn't get pinned, so he's still looking strong.
I give a fuck about that. I wish he had been pinned.
Okay, go ahead.
No, but so it's funny because right before we hit record, I actually listened to the snippet of Cornette reviewing just this match. I didn't listen to anything else from the podcast, but I wanted to hear his opinion on this match because, and the thing was, just as I had expected, Cornette has rose-colored glasses when it comes to Braun Breaker because he worked with his dad and his uncle. So he's like, oh, he's doing the same shit Rick used to do. And like, yeah, that's all great and good. I don't care. As someone who's not attached to these people in any way personally. Well, I can't say that because I've known Tommaso forever. Mm-hmm. Okay. So someone who doesn't have a personal, attachment to Braun Breaker. Mm-hmm. This match emphasized that Braun is not ready. He missed a couple of key spots, and it was glaringly obvious. And in all honesty, this gives an open opportunity for. Remember what I said when they first did the rebrand, and they put the title on Tommaso, and the way they were building it, and I said how Tommaso should be the grizzly vet that every young guy keeps trying to beat but can't. Mm-hmm. And then eventually, somewhere down the line, when a guy has been built up correctly, he can be the one to take the belt off. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling that's what they're going to do with Dolph. Because this gives a chance for Dolph to make the world his fucking oyster because him and Bobby Roode. Because they were kind of they were in the tag division on Raw and SmackDown, and they were there and they were getting TV time and yada yada. But this gives a chance for Dolph to be the main event, to hold a captive audience, to show everything that he has. And yes, it's on a smaller stage, but it's Dolph having fun, and it's Dolph being able to work with younger guys, to work with guys who aren't under the same thumb that he is, as far as, all right, we got 4 minutes, let's do this, and this in a match that doesn't really matter. You could have Dolph be this insufferable heel champion who's got Bobby Roode right there as on his fucking side to make sure he never loses that fucking belt. And you could run for months with this. This could be a grooming period that could make Braun Breaker not look so fucking one-dimensional to me. Make him fucking work and have actual matches and fight his way back up to the title and maybe get a little better. You have a look on
I'm going to reserve my judgment for after Stand and Deliver.
Yes, I agree.
I want to wait and see what they end up doing through that. So trust me, I had the same hope as you. Yeah. Like, we're in 100% agreement, but I'm reserving all my judgment until after Stand and Deliver in 3 weeks. Otherwise, I'm going to not get too excited.
Right. Because if they just go ahead and make Braun a 2-time NXT champion, like this young in his career, like really? And if they put Braun on the main roster, no, not ready. Then you're really getting Mojo Rawley'd.
Yeah. SmackDown. Brock opens with kind of sort of a promo. Not really. He's just calling out Roman. Yeah. Paul walks out, says Roman isn't there. Brock chases Paul backstage. Paul gets away, drives off, whatever. Mm-hmm. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Butch?
So here's the thing. I've been thinking about this. Because if you notice, Sheamus said, you all know him by a name, but we like to call him Butch.
Right.
So that's not to say that he's not going to be officially known as Butch.
I know.
for the long run.
I know.
I also have a feeling that that whole program is going to change now that E is out. Because if you noticed over the weekend at house shows, Woods is back.
Oh.
Yeah, Woods came back. I think he was out on like a short like injury thing, but it wasn't really that much of an injury thing. It was just a chill. But I have a feeling Woods is going to be coming back anyway, and this was going to be a 3-on-3 for like the pre-show at Mania Night 1.
Sensible.
But I have a feeling now that E is hurt, that's all going to go out the window. And what a better opportunity for them to keep Sheamus and Ridge together, have Kofi and fucking Woods there, and they go to turn to Butch for help, and Butch says, fuck all, and turns on them. And he says, my name's not fucking Butch. My name is Pete Dunne.
Or option B, keep the green guy on the outside and have Dunne as the tag partner instead.
Yeah, but that would make sense. And Vince would go, no. Or at least have Pete Dunne be like, my name's Butch Dunne. Like, you know.
Something.
Like, they're not going to let him use the Bruiserweight name because, number one, that was his gimmick. And number two, they've gotten rid of the Cruiserweight division. So, yeah.
Yeah, true. Then we have all the Sami Zayn and Knoxville shit with the phone number and whatever.
That's kind of funny.
Drew and the Raiders were scheduled for a 6-man tag. Doesn't happen because the Raiders get jumped backstage, and then Drew gets jumped, and it was just basically just a way of building up the Corbin McIntyre match, basically.
Right.
Then you had Ronda and Charlotte do a promo where we clearly see that Ronda still doesn't know how to do a promo.
Mm-hmm.
Sasha and Naomi beat Natalya and Shayna just to waste time.
Mm-hmm.
Then Boogs beats Jey Uso to give him and Nakamura a shot at the SmackDown tag titles at Mania. Then they bring Sami Zayn and Ricochet out for the main event introductions for the Intercontinental title rematch. Austin Theory, for whatever fucking reason, is out there sitting next to Pat McAfee.
He didn't sit next to him. He just came out and got in his face, and Pat went, fuck all. And I'll tell you something.
Oh, he was sitting next to him originally.
Was he?
Austin Theory was sitting in a chair.
I remember him coming out.
McAfee was like, yeah, because he was just there. Theory was just there, and McAfee was just like, I don't know why this schmuck is sitting here next to me or some shit. And then Theory got in his face, and then he mushed back.
But that was all before the bell rang. So
yeah, all before the bell rang.
Yeah.
And then McAfee hopped the table and went after Theory.
And I'll tell you, as far as like a fight segment and a pull apart and yada yada, that was done well. Like, it made Pat be like, I ain't no bitch. And it actually it got me more pumped. Like, I was already willing to see Austin Theory and McAfee because as someone who watched NXT knows what McAfee can do and knows what Austin Theory can do. And just, you know, I was happy to hear about that match being announced originally, but now after seeing them like scruffle like that, like I'm pumped for this fucking match.
We're also dealing with McAfee, who was a world class, but an elite athlete at one point in time.
He had an NFL paycheck. That's more than fucking millions of us can say.
And has had a match before.
Right.
You can say what you want about his opponent, but it was a very good match. Against a high caliber talent.
And did well in War Games.
Correct. So, I mean, Pat, I don't know if established is too big of a word, but like, he's proven he can at least go out there and athletically put out something.
Right.
It's not like you're putting some random schmuck off the street.
Exactly.
Like Logan Paul.
Hey, Logan Paul had a match last year.
Fuck Logan Paul. Ricochet retains over Sami Zayn.
Clean. Which was what the note that they needed to now have no bearing on Sami Zayn and Knoxville and have Ricochet have someone fresh for Mania break.
Correct. And then we go off the air with Charlotte attacking Ronda backstage, and yeah.
Oh, the other thing. They actually let Ricochet win clean with the 630.
Yeah.
It's been a while. And it shows that a move like that, if you only let him pull it out of the repertoire every once in a while, people remember.
Right. That's correct. So, real quick to wrap things up, let's give an update on what the WrestleMania card looks like officially as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we know there's eventually going to be a Raw Tag Team title match. It's not officially booked yet, but RK Bro is going to defend the Raw Tag Team titles in some shape, way, or form. At least we would assume that. It's not officially booked though. So right now we officially have 10 WrestleMania matches, 5 for each night. Night 1 we have Charlotte and Ronda, Becky and Bianca for the respective brands' women's titles.
Mm-hmm.
We got Miz and Logan Paul against the Mysterios. We have Drew and Corbin. And then we have the Usos against Shinsuke and Boogs for the SmackDown tag titles.
Right.
On night 2, we have Edge and Styles, McAfee and Theory, Knoxville and Zayn. The triple threat for the women's tag titles.
Yep.
And then we have, obviously, Brock and Roman. And then, of course, obviously, we also have the KO show segment with Stone Cold. Whether they put it on night 1 or night 2, who knows?
There's a graphic I saw that of something that I didn't even think of up until this morning about Brock and Roman.
Continue.
What's the one other thing that Brock and Roman have in common other than the titles and how many times they face each other at Mania?
Paul Heyman.
One more thing. Think about the WrestleMania records.
They're both unbeaten at Mania?
No. They're the only two people that ever beat Taker at Mania.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw that, yeah. Woohoo.
Well, because Taker's going in the Hall of Fame. How great would it be at 11th hour to make Taker the special ref for that shit?
It's kind of the track I was going on.
I'd pop.
Would
you need an extra 20 minutes for the ref to be announced.
You're such an asshole. You are such an asshole.
Because not only it's a Taker walk, but it's an old man Taker walk. So it's for him to get there.
No, even better. Okay. Imagine this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, it's not going to happen. But just work with me here. You got two hosses going at it. Brock, Roman, Brock. They're both out. Then he comes out. Just for the fuck of it. He comes out. Gets one last pop over them. Just for the fuck of it. I don't know. I'm just throwing random shit against the wall, see what happens. I don't know. I don't know. I just had this random idea in my head where both guys are out. Maybe probably the ref is out too. And then Taker says, fuck you to both of them, comes out, choke slams one, tombstones the other, then just walks out. I don't fucking know. It's Mania. It's Vince.
Right.
Who the fuck knows? Here's one last thing, since now we're on Mania.
Okay.
Now, actually, two last things. Number one, have you heard who WWE is trying to induct into the Hall of Fame this year?
I've heard a couple. The other one the other rumored one I heard was Sid Justice.
True, but not who I was referencing.
Okay. Oh, well, we know Vader's going in. It was someone else that had already passed.
No.
No?
No.
No.
No. It's in direct relation to your favorite NXT superstar right now.
What, they want to try to get in the Steiners? Ain't gonna happen.
It's what's been said.
Scott is so burn the bridge that, yeah.
No shit. But here's the last thing I want to bring up to you. There is apparently still hope against hope that something works out with a contract. I think you know where I'm going with this. This is all just what I'm seeing from the source that I trust for news. So we'll just go with that for now. behind closed doors, there's still hope against hope that they are saving a spot in Mania for a certain someone to come to an agreement on a contract. You know where this is going.
He ain't facing Seth.
Okay. There, you said it. You said it. Okay. There.
They're going to have to scrounge to find someone for Seth, but that ain't happening.
What I'm referring to, by the way, if you're not putting the pieces of the puzzle together, there's talk about them still saving a slot on Mania for a Cody Rhodes Seth Rollins match.
Nobody would care.
But I'll say this: if that's the way they're going to try to transition him in as a player, it's not a bad way to do it. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm not saying it's going to work, but I'm just saying it's not a horrible way to do it.
As far as the casual WWE fan goes, Stardust disappeared long ago, and they don't give a fuck about Cody Rhodes.
I fucking know. But I'm saying there's worse options out there for Cody than Seth Rollins.
I would sooner be happier seeing Seth Rollins chase the fucking 24/7 title.
Well, let's just be realistic about this for a second then. Who is left that hasn't been booked? Hold on, I might have an answer. Let me pull up my phone because I've been keeping a running list. Let me see here. Becky, Bianca, Charlotte, Rousey, the tag teams, Brock and Roman.
I mean, at this point, if you want to give prevalence to it and to really elevate the guy holding it, have Seth show up on SmackDown to challenge Ricochet.
That would be one person that's not booked.
They're really trying to push Ricochet as the number 2 babyface of the SmackDown brand. Like, give him a win over Seth at Mania.
You know what? I have a weird feeling. They're just going to randomly throw him into the U.S. title picture and have that be a triple threat.
Nah.
That's aside from Ricochet, that's the only spot I can think of for him right now.
No.
I'm trying to.
Seth will be the one to take down Omos.
Or do you hearken back to Seth Rollins' past? What event is the same week as WrestleMania? We already talked about it. Just
Stand and Deliver.
Yes. Who has the title right now?
Dolph.
Okay. Let's say, for all intents and purposes, he has a title match at Stand and Deliver and retains.
Okay.
Who's the first ever NXT champion?
Seth.
I know they're not much for spotlighting NXT, but
plus they're not going to.
Seth.
Seth's not going to go down to Florida.
I'm not saying go down to Florida.
No, but I'm saying, like, you can't have Seth win that because then he would have to go down to Florida. You don't want to put Dolph or the Seth. Plus, they're both heels, but there's just too many factors that wouldn't work for it.
I'm just saying you can highlight the NXT Championship at WrestleMania.
You could, but they won't.
I'm just putting it out there. It's a thought. It's a thought. I just wanted to put that out there. That's all. I mean, the only thing that logically makes sense at this point are the two theories we put out there about the US title or the IC title, or option C, for whatever fucking reason, he's not booked and they just throw him in as part of the KO show with Austin.
True. Or there's one other thing that we could think of. There's another person who was interviewed recently who said, I have nothing left to prove.
currently in WWE?
Not technically.
Not technically. What a fucking jack off answer that is. What is not? Can you specify what not technically means? Like contract is expired and he hasn't signed anywhere?
Kind of.
Fuck off.
We could very well, for one more time, we could have Seth Rollins in the ring tomorrow night at Raw being like, I don't need this because I have nothing left to prove. And then anyone who's been paying attention goes, nothing left to prove. And then all of a sudden, you just hear, apple juice!
Oh, fuck me. Casual WWE fan doesn't remember him beating John Cena 5 years ago in SummerSlam. Oh, God, whatever.
But still, do Cena and Rollins one more time. Cena's a name. It keeps Rollins elevated into the spot where he needs to be. It doesn't diminish either of their stock. Like,
you know what's funny is nobody has mentioned his name or Dwayne's name the last 2 months.
Right. Well, I mean, plus because we're all waiting for Dwayne to just appear next year at this point.
Like basically all the shit that blew up with Brock and Roman the last 2 months, just Dwayne is a complete afterthought now at this point. Nobody's mentioned his name.
Yeah.
What if they don't even do that? What if they just have Seth come out and say, I'm not even booked on the biggest show of the year, and then what if they make it like a multi-night thing? Like Seth comes out night 1 to do a bullshit transition segment in the ring, and you get a Cena pop both nights. Cena comes in to interrupt Seth and challenge him for the next night.
You could. You very well could.
That's actually not a bad half-hatched idea by us.
Yeah. Right. I mean, because it's Seth is one guy who they're not going to not give a Mania payday to if he's completely well and healed, if he's not hurt.
Right.
They've got to give him something.
Well, yeah. Throw him a bone.
Right.
Exactly. Just like I think Titus wants you to throw him a bone. Anyways, I mean, that covers everything I have. Do you have anything?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, that being said, motherfuckers, yeah, we outie. This is episode 41 of White Heat, presented by Gozilla Media, sponsored by our good friends at Mohawk Honda and Johnstone Supply. And don't forget with Mohawk Honda, by the way. Yeah, it's springtime. Great time to get a new car. Visit Mohawk Honda, Freeman's Bridge Road in Scotia, Glenville, and work with the people you can trust during the car buying experience. You can follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And this month, it's the Plate Change Challenge at Mohawk Honda. Throughout the month, Mohawk Honda and their partners at Mohawk Chevrolet up in Malta, they're collecting athletic equipment for underprivileged kids in the capital region. So bring your equipment to either location to help the community this month. Find the right price and the right vehicle for yourself at Scotia, Glenville, Mohawk Honda, or Mohawk Chevrolet, where they always go out of their way to please you. That being said, JJ, I see you got Titus there. He's ready to go. He's waiting for the mailman. He's eating his snacks. He's ready to rock and roll. Until next time, brother. It's been good. And we'll talk again, all right?
All right.
Bye, everyone. Later.